1, 2, 3, Sesame Street. Read, giggle, and share. Fairy Tales edition. Welcome back, guys. Jack, Elmo, and the Beanstalk. There are 2 sides to every story, and this is Elmo's side. Once upon a time, Jack Elmo sold his cow for some magic beans. He planted the beans, which grew into an enormous beanstalk. Jack Elmo climbed up into the clouds. Don't worry, Jack Elmo was very careful. At the top of the beanstalk was a huge castle with wonderful treasures inside. A bag of giant cookies, yum, a singing harp, and a hen that laid golden eggs. Jack Elmo picked them all up to take a closer look. Just then, a big, furry blue giant with a very loud voice shouted, "Fee, fi, fo, fum! Who is that little red monster?" Jack Elmo ran away so fast he forgot to put the bag of giant cookies back, and the singing harp and the hen that laid golden eggs. He chopped down the beanstalk so the giant couldn't follow him and scare other little monsters. And Jack Elmo lived happily ever after. That's not how the story goes. Go to the next page. Elmo, me tell stories, says Cookie Monster. Now me tell how story really goes. The Little Red Cookie Taker. One day, me, Cookie Monster, Giant, was having a nice day in the castle on clouds, eating cookies and making up poems. Fee, fi, fo, fum, la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-dum. Suddenly, a little red monster burst into the castle. Giant wanted to play, but Little Red Fellow ran away. He took a bag of giant cookies, singing harp, and a hen that laid golden eggs, but especially a bag of giant cookies, and did not even say please. Me would have shared, Jack Elmo. Now, how are the 2 stories different? Try saying fee, fi, fo, fum 4 times fast. Here we go. Ready? Fee, fi, fo, fum. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Was that 4 times? Elmo's sorry. Elmo should have thought about how Cookie Monster Giant was feeling. Here, have a cookie. It says, share a favorite fairy tale or folk tale with your child. Ask her or him to think about how different characters experience the same events. For instance, in Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, the bears and Goldilocks have very different points of view. What do the bears want? What does Goldilocks want? Opposites! Opposites are 2 things that are completely different from each other. Point to each storytelling word on the left, then to its opposite on the right. What's the first word on the left? It says beginning. He's opening the book and it says, Once Upon a Triangle. That's the beginning of a book. Can you find the opposite on the other side? Is that grouch? Beginning. End. He has the end of the book. It says, Now scram. Now let's look at the other side. It says full. Big Bird has a big pail of water full. His pail is full with water. On the opposite side is Big Bird and Rosita with empty pails of water. They dropped them. On the other side, we have the word awake. Grover is very loud. making his trumpet, awaking Rosita. And on the opposite, Rosita is asleep. Cookie Monster says, fabulous, fantastic letter F. F for fee, fi, fo, fum. Fish, fountain, frog prints. Francine, feathers, fingers, field, footprint, flag, fantastic flowers, flying fairies, the fiddle, a fork, a foot. Fairy tales are fun. Say the names of the pictures. They all start with the same sound, like the first sound of the word fountain. What other words begin with the F sound? Can you find these in the big picture? Fantastic flowers. Flying fairies. And a frog prince. Did you locate them? I'll give you a minute. Good job. The Little Red Monster, based on an old folktale. One day, Elmo, the little red monster, found some grains of wheat at Hopper's store. Cool, said Elmo. Elmo will make a loaf of bread. Who will help Elmo plant these grains? Not I, said Big Bird. I am going to visit Snuffy in his snuffle cave. So the little red monster planted the grains himself. The sun shone, the rain fell, and the wheat grew nice and tall. Hooray, said Elmo. Now, who will help Elmo pick the wheat? Not I, said Zoe. I'm going for a ride in my Zoomobile. So the little red monster picked the wheat himself. Then he took it to the mill where it was ground into flour. Back home, Elmo asked, now who will help Elmo make some bread? Not me, said Cookie Monster. Me busy eating cookies. So the little red monster poured and mixed and baked that bread by himself. Well, Elmo's mommy and daddy helped a little. It smelled delicious. Now, who will help Elmo eat this bread? Elmo asked when the bread was finished baking. We will, said Big Bird and Zoe. Me will, said Cookie Monster. Yes, you will, said Elmo, giving them each a piece of warm bread. But next time, Elmo needs more help, please. We're sorry, Elmo, his friends said, and they all cleaned up the kitchen together. The end. How did Elmo help the grains change into bread? How do you help out at home? Look for the story of the Little Red Hen at your local library or bookstore. How is it different from Elmo's tale? It's fun and fine to count to 9. Wah, wah, wah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wah, wah, ha, ha. 9 telling tales. I'm counting 9 creatures. Come on, take a look. You might know of them from a story time book. They are kittens, a wolf, a bear, family, and a mice. So learn all about them. They're really quite nice. Count these animals from your favorite tales, tale by tale. How are their tails different or the same? Find the long tails and find the curly tails. You can look for the stories shown above in your local bookstore or library. Let's see if we can get some hints about the books. Let's see, we see 3 bears sitting in a kitchen table. So that's the three bears and Goldilocks. We see the big bad wolf. We're going to go with not Goldilocks, the little...
It is good. No, it's Red Riding Hood.
There you go, Red Riding Hood and the big bad wolf. And then we see three kittens. I remember that story, and they have mittens.
At least they didn't lose them.
And then we have mice. That's probably what?
Well, there can't be three blind mice because
There's no three. You could just mice.
Mice.
Maybe you could tell us in the comment section below.
Oh, how about
what
this?
The mouse?
You could
It says country mouse.
You could download an app from
it
the
says
library.
City and country.
You can download the app from the library, and you can read books for free in your house right now.
What app is that?
We can't say the names of the apps, but you can go to your library's website and download them. It tells you right there.
Well, there's a hint though. It says city mouse and a country mouse. How about we Google that?
Oh yeah, it's here.
So, which bowl of porridge is the biggest and which one's the smallest? Which one would Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear would eat? Anansi and Turtle, an African folktale. I, Furry Blue Grover, have just returned from Africa, where my friend Malika told me a story that her mother told her, and her mother told her. It is about a very tricky spider. Now I, Storytelling Grover, will tell you the story. One evening, tired, dusty Turtle knocked on Spider Anansi's door. Anansi invited him for dinner, just to be polite. But when Turtle reached for the bowl of tasty food, Anansi said cleverly, "Turtle, don't you know it's bad manners to eat without first washing up?" So hungry Turtle slowly walked back to the river to wash. By the time he returned, greedy Anansi had finished all the food. A month later, Anansi visited Turtle. "Come down!" Turtle invited from his dinner table at the river's bottom. But Anansi was too light to sink under the water. He had to put pebbles in his jacket pockets to get to the turtle's table. Just as Anansi reached her some delicious food, Turtle said cleverly, "Don't you know it is bad manners to wear a jacket at the table?" Of course, as soon as Anansi's jacket was off, he floated up. He only looked on sadly as Turtle ate all the dinner himself. Find the 9 hidden fish in the picture. Well, let's see. Ask your child, did Anansi really want to share his dinner with Turtle? Why did Turtle ask Anansi to remove his jacket? What else could they have done? Search for other Anansi tales at the library or bookstore. Look for folk tales from other cultures too.
I thought turtles only eat grass and stuff like that.
Well, they're eating moss, maybe. We don't know.
But the spider only eats. It's a carnivore.
Let's see. Play date with Abby Cadabby. Poof! Hi, I'm Abby Cadabby. It's so nice to meet you. I'm a fairy in training. What do you want to be when you grow up? When I'm happy, I float. So many things make me happy, like good friends and school and rhyming. What makes you happy? Let's rhyme together. Think of some words that rhyme with sunny. Friend, float, and spell.
I think a sunny day.
Wow, you're a really good rhymer. Well, time for me to twinkle out. So long. Poof.
You seen a thing that there's frogs everywhere, and sometimes they appear on different pages.
No, I don't know this.
Frog.
That's a good observation. Crumb Soup, based on an old folk tale. The invitation said, "Come for dinner." Cookie Monster had sent it to all his friends, but when Ernie and Bert arrived, Cookie Monster was sitting at the kitchen table looking very sad. "Hi, Cookie," said Ernie and Bert. "What's the matter?" "There's nothing for dinner," he explained. "Me was hungry. Me ate up everything in the house except this handful of crumbs." Ernie looked at the crumbs on the Cookie Monster's plate. "Don't worry, Cookie," he said. "I have a great recipe for crumb soup. I will show you how to make it." Ernie filled a big pot with water. He added crumbs of bread, a sprinkle of salt, and a pinch of pepper. Cookie Monster looked into the pot and he sang, "Soup in the pot, soup in the tummy. Crumb soup we're making will be really, really, really yummy." "Ernie," said Bert, "are you sure this is going to be good to eat?" "Don't worry, Bert, old buddy," said Ernie. "It will taste delicious." "Hey," said Bert, "we brought some carrots and celery to the party. Let's put them in the soup." "Just what I was thinking," Ernie said. So in the pot with the crumbs went the carrots and celery. And Cookie said, "Soup in the pot, soup in the tummy. Crumb soup we're making will be really, really, really yummy." Ding dong! Big Bird and Snuffy were at the door. They brought some cabbage that Snuffy had grown in his garden. Cookie Monster opened his mouth to take a taste, but Ernie pointed into the soup. So into the pot with the crumbs, carrots, and celery went the cabbage. And Cookie sang, "Soup in the pot, soup in the tummy. Crumb soup we're making will be really, really, really yummy." Ding dong! Zoe and Elmo arrived at the party with a bag of beans. So into the pot with the crumbs, carrots, celery, and cabbage went the beans. Plop, plop, plop. Ernie stirred and Cookie sang, "Soup in the pot, soup in the tummy. Crumb soup we're making will be really, really, really yummy." Ding dong! It was Oscar. "I brought you a present. Some nice, smelly onions." "Ha ha ha ha." "Thank you," said Ernie. He carefully chopped the onions and dropped them into the pot. That's exactly what the soup needed. Now it just has to cook. Soon the soup was all done and the guests were all there. Ernie and Cookie Monster served the tasty soup to all their friends. "Thank you, Ernie," said Cookie Monster. "What would me have done without you and your special recipe?" Then everyone sang together, "Soup in the pot, soup in the tummy. Crumb soup we're making will be really, really, really yummy."
Frog, see next to the bowl.
Soup up. Have you ever tried any of the soups in the story? What do the foods look? What do they smell? And what do they taste like? What other healthy foods could you put in your homemade soup?
I like noodle soup.
I like chicken noodle soup. I'm a little teapot. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle. Here is Elmo's spout. When I get all steam up, hear me shout, "Whoa! Just tip me over and pour me out." What else can your child pretend to be? Choose some everyday objects, such as a clock, a creaky door, or a toy truck. Play music or encourage your child to make up a song as he moves like that object. Right there in the corner it says, "Peekaboo! Look for me on every page." You guessed it.
No, because there was a page with a one page before. He wasn't there.
Well, that's all for tonight, boys and girls. Have a good night. This was 123 Sesame Street. Read, giggle, and share. Good night. See you tomorrow.